Today on Love Factually, we're answering a very common question I get from clients. Where do I get the money to hire an attorney?
Author and family law specialist Douglas Gardner.
So Douglas?
Certified family law specialist Douglas C. Gardner, there he is.
Hi, Douglas Gardner from the Davis Miles Law Firm.
Perhaps due to Murphy's Law, we often see that people, when they need to come in for a bankruptcy or a divorce, that these things generally happen at their worst financial time in their lives. And so it's often difficult as attorneys to advise clients that are coming in saying, hey, I need to file for bankruptcy or I need to hire an attorney for a divorce, and then to say, okay, great, we can help you, but we're going to need thousands of dollars to assist you with your case. So one of the questions that I often get from clients is, where do I get the money to hire you as an attorney? Well, as we've discussed, clearly you need to have an attorney, and then clearly your attorney is going to expect to get paid. So sometimes we have to be a little bit creative in how to come up with the money. The simplest way may be if you have access to a debit or credit card, simply you can pay by debit or credit card, or if you've got cash, certainly feel free to pay cash. Write a check as long as there's money in the bank to cover it. Now many times people don't have any money in the bank, so they can't write a check or pay cash, and as far as debit card, unless there's money in the bank, you can't pay that. Sometimes their credit cards are already maxed out or simply don't have a credit limit high enough to pay what's necessary. In those situations, people may need to reach out to friends and family and borrow or get loans from friends or family that can help you. Sometimes this can be a difficult conversation, especially if these are friends of both you and your soon-to-be ex. The bottom line is you may need to have somebody that can help step in and front you some money or loan you some money, or wouldn't it be great if they're able to give you a gift of some money to help you get through a complicated divorce. If there's no friends or family available and there's no credit available, sometimes you then have to sell things. Once a divorce starts, there's a preliminary injunction that says that neither party can hide, sell, or conceal assets. One of the exceptions to this is, though, that either side can sell assets as necessary to pay for their necessities of life. And necessities is defined as being food, clothes, shelter, and attorney's fees. The law recognizes that your need to have an attorney is high enough that it allows you to sell things, if necessary, to hire an attorney. So if you need to have a yard sale, you can do that. I generally advise clients to make sure that if you're selling things, keep very meticulous records of what you sold, how much you sold it for, and how you use those funds. Because when you are selling things, sometimes a judge can get skeptical. The better records you have, the better proof you have, the less skeptical the judge is going to be that it was necessary for you to do this. Clearly, don't get mad at your spouse. Sell their favorite car for $100 to your best friend. That is not going to go very well with the judge. But if you have a car that's worth, let's say a $10,000 car, and you have to sell it for $9,000, nobody's going to bat an eye at that, because generally when you are selling things in a divorce situation, you may need to give a little bit of a discount. That's fine. But if you're selling it for far less than what it's worth, or if you're selling it to close friends or family members, these are things that are going to raise the judge's eyebrows a bit. Another place that you can look to get money to hire your attorney is retirement accounts. Sometimes you can borrow from these retirement accounts. 401k accounts often have a mechanism built in where you can get a loan against your 401k. Talk to your HR director if that's the case. Sometimes if you can't borrow from them, you can still pull money out. This should be, look at other options first, because unless you're 59 and a half, often pulling money out of your retirement accounts may trigger not just taxes but also a penalty. But in certain cases, it may be appropriate to pull money out of your retirement account to make sure that you're protecting yourself by hiring an attorney. In certain cases, one side controls all the finances and the other side is essentially frozen out financially. In those cases, when clients come in and they can show that there is enough money, just that they don't have access to it, rarely but occasionally we can take those cases and go in and ask the court to set a temporary orders hearing, and at that temporary orders hearing, we're asking the court to order the other side to give my client access to funds. Most of the time, we're still going to require some money up front in order to accept that case and take on that challenge. And certainly understand there are no guarantees in litigation, so just because we go and ask the judge something doesn't mean the judge is going to give it to us. We've also had some situations, again, these are after the client has already paid us some money and we're well into the case, where instead of having the client set up a specific monthly payment to keep us current or to keep us to keep paying towards the balance owed, in certain cases we may accept a lien against property that the party is likely going to get awarded in the case. Assume that the parties have a house, and in that house there's $500,000 of equity. the presumption is each side's going to get about half of that. And so in that situation, I as the attorney would be fairly confident that at the end of the case my client would be able to pay me. Now in that situation, if the client has very little current money coming in and very little access to an ability to pay me, no friends or family that can step in and help, in certain situations we may be willing to accept a lien against whatever my client will receive out of that house. Now in doing this, come and see us, come talk to us to see if this applies to your case and see if it's a risk that we're willing to take. I'm not saying that we for sure will. And then in these cases also, you as a client need to understand that we would not be able to be your attorney in this transaction. You may need to get your own attorney to advise you as to whether or not this is a good deal or not, because the ethical rules in Arizona indicate that in this situation we are actually on the opposite side of you in a contractual negotiation, and so we cannot give you legal advice or say yes, this is a good idea, yes you should, or yes, this lien document is appropriate. So we can prepare that, we can present it to you, but you'll have a letter from us indicating to you that we do not represent you in that situation, and that we're not giving you advice as to whether or not you should or shouldn't enter into this type of contract. Generally, we try and avoid these situations where we're required to get a lien against property of the client. We prefer to be paid and stayed current throughout the case. So this is an exception, not a rule. And in short, the answer to where you get money to hire an attorney, it just depends on your situation. We will help you be creative. We'll help you think of different places and different possible ways you can come up with money. But ultimately, you as a client will need to make some tough choices to make sure that you have the finances available to have an attorney that can represent you and protect your needs and help you with your case. I hope that you've enjoyed this Love Factually video. Please click the like button to help other people find our great videos. Also, hit the subscribe button so that you have access to our other videos, and click the notification bell so that you are one of the first people to have access to each new video as it comes out. Any good attorney product comes with a disclaimer. Here's mine. Number one, watching this video or reading my books does not make you a client. And until you come in and consult with me or hire me or one of our attorneys here in the firm, there is no attorney-client privilege that's created. These videos and books are general in nature and should not be used in place of specific and detailed advice. Every case is different, and you need to discuss the specifics of your case with an attorney. Number three, until you hire me or come in for a consultation, the only legal advice I can give you is that yes, you should consult with an attorney. Finally, because your case is unique, no amount of Google, YouTube, or even my wonderful books can replace the advice of an experienced attorney. There's $500,000 of equity in the house, but the real loud car driving by. Okay, real loud car, another real loud car. What a jerk. So just as an example,